Welcome back to World Headquarters. Yes, I know the lighting's terrible. But it's so cold. I've got a heater going in here. Shop supervisor's keeping it warm, keeping it real. I think he's checking my quality control right now. Anyway, I don't want to leave you behind ever, so let's get caught up. I am in the process, and these videos might be out of order just when we get them released, but I am working on putting in, hey, you love that camera work? Oh boy, I might take Russ's job. That is where the stove is going. And at the same time we're working on the stove, we're getting ready to work on the sink, because sometimes some things have to dry, or they have to do this, or they have to do that. And while we're doing that, we're kind of really working two projects at once. So I'm going to be dressed the same. I'm not even trying to fool you. But we're going to put in the sink. I want to show you some of the, there I go with that camera work. I'm going to show you a couple of things that are unique, well, because how I'm building it, not unique to Shasta, but how I'm doing it. So let me show you those things. So as I said, the stove is going to go there. And then there is going to be a piece right here that is going to go in here. And it's going to keep, that's not going there, that's ridiculous. It's going right here. And that's going to keep you shielded. Maybe they're frying chicken, I don't know what they're going to eat. But it will keep the heat and whatever you're cooking off of the people who are eating on the dinette. So, we got to run our gas line, and then we come over here, and the stove will fit. There's going to be about a 1 inch. It has a spacer, and I'll show you that when we get, I mean, you may have already seen it. Why am I talking about the stove? We're here to talk about the sink. So the sink is normally not in this configuration. And another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the drain in the back. You probably put somewhere, maybe on the sides, I don't know yet. Because we are constrained, the faucet, side, back, not in the front, obviously, that would be awkward. But we are constrained by this. They've got city water in, but they also want to have the ability to put this jerry can jug in there that they have filled with fresh potable water. So we can't have the drain hanging down and interfering with this. And it's an under counter sink is the way Shasta did these. So that is our constraint. That is the problem that I have to solve. And so I'm going to take you out into World Headquarters, and I am going to show you how I'm going to try to solve that. I'm sure you can hear that heater blowing hot air behind me, but we're moving on. We're moving on. We're not going to let this winter get us down. Next up, this is the front of the sink that I showed you, the counter. And I marked down where I need to put my trim. This is going to be a little more different than usual. But we're going to put this three-quarter trim around this edge and this edge. And then this edge over here is going to have, oh, I got the piece right here. Just happened to have it handy. This is a piece, this was one we actually salvaged. This was on there. It looks like a piece of three-quarter, but it's actually hollow. Weird. But anyway, that'll be right here. And again, you're doing the dishes and maybe somebody's sleeping. You don't want to splash them with water. Maybe you do. You know, what you do on a Saturday night, it's none of my business. But anyway, that goes there. So we'll put cove molding right here. Cove molding. And lucky I've seen this, because now I know I've got to trim a little bit on this corner. I always measure. And then cove molding will go back here. So cove, and then we start our three-quarter trim. So I'm not going to do that right this second. You've kind of seen me do that a lot. So I may just put it in a short. You guys watch our shorts? You can go, there's like a section that says shorts. You just watch it. It's me doing stuff really fast and falling down. It's like a Keystone Cops thing. Benny Hill, I don't know. So I'm going to put this off to the side, and I'm going to get started right here on the sink. Because the sink is going to be crucial to making the whole thing fit. Now, this is the original sink. It's in great shape. Yeah, I know, it needs washed up, cleaned up. It goes underneath the counter and hooks in. So we're going to go ahead and drill some holes here on the side, and then we'll butyl tape it up real nice, and then we'll suck that right up into the countertop. Now, because this will be in the front, that's where it's going to be the most out of the way of our jerry can. This is the original drain. It's in really good shape. Normally I would leave it, but look at how big that is. We've got a new one. These are the ones we always use. And you can see the difference. Now you can see the difference. See how much? That's going to gain us probably 2 inches. Well, there would be where it would sit. It's going to gain us at least 1.5 inches right there. And that's more room for our jerry can. So I'm going to take this one off. I'm going to save it because it's got this really cool strainer. There's going to be somebody out there in Shasta world going, "Hey, Rob, give me that strainer." Okay, you can have it. All right, I'm going to get working on that. Got things cleaned up a little bit. So my first step is, got that out. And they really used the plumber's putty on that. More the merrier, I always say. But we're going to put this brand new shiny one in here and make it beautiful. That's going to be our goal today. It did take a lot of plumber's putty. This kind of, you can see where it kind of dips down. So we really have to fill that up. And any extra that we have, we'll just go ahead and trim it out, really. It's better to use too much and clean it up. I guess I should see if this fits. Woo, yeah, it fits. It fits. We're not going to need as much plumber's putty because it fits down inside that bump. So I just kind of roll this plumber's putty out, try to get a good fat bead all the way around it, which looks like we got that mission accomplished. Because as we crank the nut down on this, it's going to push it out here. So we want to make sure we got it really in the crevice there. All right, so first thing we do, put that in there. And then we take our rubber washer. No, we don't. That's the wrong one. This bigger rubber washer. We kind of give this a little push. You can see some of the plumber's putty is already coming through, and that's a good sign. That means we should have this sealed up pretty well. So we'll put that in there, put that rubber washer. Now we're just gonna crank down that nut on there. Try to keep it centered the best that you can. We're gonna take one of these giant pliers, put it on there. And what we have to do really is either get some, I think they make a tool for this. I just don't have it. But you could put like a screwdriver in here, and you could get it mostly tightened that way. If you turn it the right way, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, I think is what my shop teacher told me. And so we're going pretty good there. I might even hold it out here. Kind of awkward doing this on camera, but we got to get it romped down nice and tight. And right now, if I quit talking, Russ will double time this. And we're back. Okay. Underneath, you see we've got a good bit of plumber's putty and our rubber washer. In here you can see a lot of the plumber's putty has made its way out. That's good. That means it compressed and pushed it out. So there should be that barrier in there. So I'm just going to take my finger here and kind of just kind of peel it off, make a little inspection in there. Everything looks great from here. And I'll test this. I'll put a bunch of water in it, let it sit there for a while and make sure nothing is leaking out. I'm going to take my plumber's putty, because it didn't get dirty. I'm going to put it back in my plumber's putty container, of course. All right, having done that, I'm going to finish the sink up for right now. I got some 3/4 inch number 6 screws. So those will go up into our kitchen counter, which is 3/4. So it'll have this buffer of this 1/16, maybe 1/8 inch. And it'll screw right into there with a bunch of butyl tape on it. So I'm just gonna cut just make some holes there. And I'm gonna do that about 8 times. And again, Russ is feeling generous. It's, you know, it's probably the Christmas season, or there shortly thereafter. Maybe he's gonna run this quick for you. There it is. That was a smart move. So that gives us plenty to hold this with the butyl tape into our kitchen countertop. I think I'm going to go ahead and trim out the countertop, install this, and then we'll go put it in. Before we put our sink under here, we need to run some trim. It's the same 3/4 trim as this right here, really. So I started making I started making a video and I didn't have it figured out yet. I've got it figured out now. So I'm going to show you what I'm doing now. All right, so I got this in here and I just found one spot to start at. And then I just kind of started pushing things around a little bit, making sure that they're tight, bringing it around. Now see, here's what happens. I get in the way. All right, here we go. Make sure. Again, I think I'm going to try and put a screw in this side right here just to hold it. And now I can keep moving a little bit. So you got to make sure that you have these in there. And that one. So now that I got both of those ends in, I feel like I could put one in right here. And I'm going to do that. So that's in. Now, we've got to try to keep this pushed in as we make our turn here, because it's going to ask for some more, but we do not want to give it any on this end. Now we've made that turn, and it did take some, but we're okay because we haven't nailed anything down yet. I'm going to put a screw up here in this corner, just for the sake of argument. There it goes, and that's going to hold that from it asking for some more down here. We can get some new, couple more screws out of here. Yeah, I was prepared, wasn't I? All right, so we're going to keep making our turn here, turn here. Now we've really got to make a turn without losing this curve right here. And I feel like I'm kind of losing it a little bit. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a screw maybe down in here. It's probably a little early. Let me get this out of there. Just, again, for the sake of argument. All right, let's just keep kind of making our turns here. And other than this little piece right here, I can see where my measurement is. But I think I want to put a screw in this curve because it's just not looking like I want it to look. All right, we got that. Let's get back in with the screw on this deal. See if we can get that going in there. Oh yeah, that made a difference. We would have been in trouble without that. Now I see I've got a pretty good measurement, I'm going to mark that right here and about right there. Now I got to take some screws out so I can cut it. But it's better to cut it properly than to have to keep doing this over and over or having it look bad. We don't want that. All right, I got my tin snips here. See if I can get a pretty even cut on it. Not so much, but we're gonna make it work. All right. Oh, it's close. It's real close. But anyway, oh, that's super close. All I'm gonna do right now is I'm going to take my hasp here. I'm gonna clean that up a little bit. I'll screw it back in and then I'll show you how we ended up. Well, what do you think? Just kind of adds a little touch of class, doesn't it? It's gonna look real nice up against that amber shellac. So what I need to do now, install the sink. I have had the sink sitting full of water for about the last 30 minutes. Just wanted to make sure that that part did not have any leaks, because if it has any leaks right there and you install it, it is such a hassle underneath the kitchen countertop. And I just don't like it. Okay, so this is the front because it has trim. This is the back because it does not have trim. We want our drain in the back. So let's try and set this nice and neatly. I think if we go maybe somewhere like there, I don't know. Maybe a little over this one maybe? Huh, all right. Let me take a sneak peek under here. We could go this way a little bit, I think. And maybe come this way just a touch. Yeah, definitely this way. Okay. All right, I think we are really good right there. We're gonna have to trim up the butyl tape on the inside, but we knew we were gonna do that. So let me run these screws in. Ta-da! There we are. I'm going to go back and pull this butyl tape out. And I think we're going to be looking good.